So what is depression? Why does it happen and how can it be stopped? These are really hard questions to answer, but you're lucky, because I really enjoy making hard things simple. That said, we can start now. Depression has been studied since ancient Greece, so it has a long history. Back then, they didn't have an iPhone 15 to Google stuff like we do, so they had to use philosophy. At the beginning, they thought depression was caused by an imbalance of four things called humors. That first theory is called the theory of the four humors. Very creative. Since then, depression has evolved until today, where we more or less know what it is. It seems that depression is a mood disorder. Mood is like an emotion, but less intense and longer lasting. It is proven that all people living on this wonderful planet, like not kidding, really wonderful, attribute mood to two categories, positive and negative. In other words, sometimes we feel bad and sometimes we feel good. So it's considered depression when you have felt bad for more than 2 weeks. So far, pretty simple. As you know, scientists try to bring everything together to make it easier to understand, and they have realized that people with depression experience a change in the perception of absolutely everything, which is why, even though they know their situation rationally, they genuinely believe they cannot get out of it. They have also concluded that feeling bad is especially this. And here comes the real problem. The brain is an extremely complicated thing that absolutely nobody understands yet. And not only is different from person to person, but it changes over time, like every part of a human body. So in reality, it's very difficult, if not impossible, for all the people to have the same symptoms. And the second complication is that we have no idea why it occurs. When you have the flu, you know that there is a pretty annoying virus that causes it, but depression is a little more complicated. At first, some experiments were done and it was believed that a lack of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain, caused depression. Yeah, there's people that still believe it today. So for a while, everyone was happy, thinking they had discovered the magical solution to why depression was caused. Pharmaceutical companies were quick, creating pills, or may I say, antidepressants, challenging themselves to create the best masterpiece, with the unique goal of helping people, or to be more precise, making money. But serotonin didn't seem to be the cause. Recently, some researchers, tired of pharmaceutical companies making so much money and them not, did an umbrella review of all the studies so far that involve serotonin and depression, and then divided them into 6 categories. Then they did a very strange statistical analysis and found no consistent results between low serotonin and depression. There have also been several researchers, quite a few in fact, who have tried to figure out if there is a relationship between depression and changes in the volume of brain structures. These researchers analyzed the brains of 4,000 participants with functional magnetic resonance imaging, more or less half with depression and half without. Then they measured the volume of certain brain structures using a software called FreeSurfer. Credits to the person who created it, he's a genius. Then they made the same statistical analysis for each of the places where they collected the samples and divided the participants with depression into various categories so they could compare them with the control participants. That is, those who did not have depression. Boom bam boom, tuna sandwich. So here we have the results. It takes you less time to read this than for me to explain it to you. Okay, it's a joke, I'll explain it to you. Basically, people who had an early episode of depression had smaller volumes in the hippocampus and amygdala than people who had never had depression. And people with recurrent depression had exactly the same thing happen compared to people who had only had one episode. But just because there are many researchers doesn't mean the experiment was done right, so this experiment has also received criticisms that are quite difficult to understand, by the way. The key here is that correlation does not imply causality. The fact that 2 variables increase together doesn't mean that one caused the other, so the cause of depression is still unknown. But humans are very practical, and even if we don't know the cause of something, we know how to solve it. I don't know which of these 2 reasons has made us so efficient. I hope that the first one. It's very well proven that with proper treatment, 2 out of 3 people get rid of this strange disease, cause don't tell me it's not strange. So if you have depression, just keep in mind that none of what you think is real and please ask for help. That's it, I'm gonna eat a bison cause I'm very hungry. See you in the next video, I hope it helped you.